What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Creators Cut. My name is Kev. If you guys are new here, I break down just videos from all over the internet and some of your favorite creators. I'll just break down the videos from a technical standpoint in case you guys ever wonder, how they do certain things. And hopefully you guys actually get a lot of value from these videos. If there's anything specific you guys want me to cover, any creators you guys want me to cover, please comment down below at any time. If you guys do want to message me directly, you guys can hit me up or follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well. So today we're gonna cover PickUpLimes, which is a request from one of you guys, and she is a foodie or a food creator. However, the video I do want to cover is called Micro Habits That Improved My Life. I was watching the beginning of it and I thought that this would be a great video to kind of break down in case you guys ever want to shoot something like this. So get your notebooks out. Let's do this. Oh, always make sure you guys show some love to the original creators of these videos. I'll always link their stuff down below. You guys check out their stuff. And if it resonates with you guys, please follow them. Show them some love. All right, let's do this.
We live in a world that idolizes instant results and dramatic changes. So naturally, I think this pushes many of us to set these really ambitious goals.
So right in the beginning here, and I want you guys to keep in mind throughout this whole thing, how many sets of B-roll shots she gets. So every time there's like a certain scene, how many different angles she gets for that one scene, because it's really important to how put together this video is. So, this shot, morning shot, establishing shot, it's the morning, just out the window. You get this here, which is such a shallow depth of field. So, the focus is right here. And then another shot of her up playing with her hair or fixing her hair.
We live in a world that idolizes instant results and dramatic changes. So naturally, I think this pushes many of us to set these really ambitious goals.
And here, the quality of the lens, or just how you could see the bokeh effect, like, all of these, the lights, it's strung up lights behind her. And because it's such a shallow depth of field, you get this nice look. And then talking about light, it looks like she has one big softbox in front, somewhere like here. You can almost see it from the eyes, but this might also be a window that looks like this. So it looks like a lot of daylight, a lot of open light, but it gives it this nice kind of blanket lighting effect. This is also completely different from some of the other creators we've been covering, where it's more of a moody look, where the light is very directed and very specific to one side. So you get the shadows on the face. This one almost feels like nice and even across the whole scene, actually, not even just her. So it's different, depending on what mood you want.
And I don't know about you, but if I make a really big goal and I don't stick to it, I start to lose trust in myself. I start to think I'm the problem. I lack motivation or willpower. But what if the issue isn't us?
So scripting as well. She does a good job of like matching the B-roll with her script. So trust in myself. Anything that you have to do, or like in movies and things like that, when people are reflecting about themselves, using mirrors, key. So this is a nice touch that she used this.
I'm the it. I start to lose trust in myself. I start to think I'm the problem. I lack motivation or willpower. But what if the issue isn't us? What if the issue is the method? Because if there's anything that I've learned, it's that true progress comes from small daily commitments, the micro habits, just tiny everyday actions that over time.
So a nice set of B-roll, micro habits, but there's this very specific shot that I was like, oh man, he has like this outline of her here of light that's just beaming. And it's crazy because like when you shoot like this, depending on whatever the light is reflecting off of, this technically should look like a silhouette. But I think maybe because there's either another light on this side, or it's such a big open room where there's so much light reflecting that it's actually showing a lot of her. Like she's very exposed on this side, but also this light is so overexposed, it's giving her this like angelic glow, which is kind of cool. But it's interesting. When I saw it the first time, I was like, what is it? How does that even happen? I've never, but that could also be by accident. So
I've gotten into the habit of telling myself no more day zeros. What are day zeros? In project management terms, it's the planning phase before any real action takes place. Like, how many times have we told ourselves, I'll
So
start my essay tomorrow?
that set of shots with the calendar, right? So you got one shot here, and I like the framing of this. I feel like this is very intentional. And when I mean intentional of it being blurred out in the background. This part right here looks like it is the only thing in focus. And if you think about shooting like this without the text, like why would you shoot the wall and keep that in focus? But the framing and stuff like that, I feel like was meant to be shot like this because maybe she wanted to use this as like a text or a title page to put this here. So I thought that was cool. You'll start to see it a little later on too with all of the text. And then moving on to the next
I've
couple
gotten into the
shots.
habit of telling myself, no more day zeros. What are day zeros?
So here she's looking at the calendar.
In project management terms, it's the planning
Then a
phase.
shot over the shoulder, low angle looking up, keeping her in the foreground, which is nice. So, our focus is here, but we get the idea that she's looking at it because she set it up with that first shot.
Before any real action takes
And then a nice
place.
close up.
Like, how many times have we told ourselves, say tomorrow, I'll start exercising tomorrow, I'll start eating better on Monday. Even though
POV shot.
setting these intentions is
Cool technique. So
say tomorrow, I'll start
it starts open because obviously you're not putting your camera in the chip bag and then opening it for the first time. So I feel like it's open. Maybe they cut a hole at the bottom. You shoot upwards, close the bag, and then open it. So
I'll start exercising tomorrow.
thing with this is you have to remember to keep or set your focus before. So open the bag up, you frame the shot. This looks good. Make sure you focus, manual focus on your face here, and then close the bag. Because if you don't and you use autofocus, depending on how bad or how good your camera is, the focus could go haywire. So remember that if you are trying to do shots like this or POV shots in a bag or anything like that.
It's those day zeros that are often holding us back. The author Dale Carnegie once said, inaction breeds doubt and fear, but action breeds confidence and courage.
Hey.
So I keep reminding
Oof. So she like rotoscoped herself out.
her, but action breeds confidence and courage.
I like that.
So I keep
So
reminding
see, text is behind her. You rotoscope yourself out. But I do want to talk about text. I really enjoy when creators use text very creatively. And this is different than what I've seen. You can see a bit of this outline of some of the words, like the opacity is I don't know, maybe 50%, just so you could see it. So you could actually read the sentence before it actually she actually says it, but then she fills it in with the actual text.
confidence and courage.
So it's cool. And this shot specifically, even without the text, I like it because there's like all this negative space. So that's why when I saw this shot, I went back to the first shot and I thought, hey, maybe these shots are very intentional for titles because, in your head, you're like, okay, I'll put the text here, the title here, even with the shot with the calendar and having it off to the side. Just seems very, very intentional.
So I keep reminding myself, no more waiting for tomorrow when today is already here. After all, today is yesterday's promise of I'll do it.
I love that. Those jump cuts and showing the days. But I think what really sells this effect is the fact that it's still punching in. So it's still zooming in a little bit.
Waiting for tomorrow when today is already here.
Yeah,
After
still
all,
going
today
in.
is yesterday's
So how you would shoot this, you start with, what is it? Start essay, and then you record for a couple seconds, write start essay again on the 12th, cross it out, and then record that for a couple seconds and do that throughout the week. Then after you lay it down and you do those jump cuts, you nest the footage so it's one clip on your timeline and then start zooming it in as opposed to zooming in each individual clip. I'm not too sure about other editing programs, but in Premiere, the program that I use, there's something called nesting a sequence. So essentially you could grab all your clips, batch them together so when you put an effect on it, it does the effect over all the clips as one as opposed to you having to do it individually. Save some time on a lot of different things. So look that up if you guys are trying to figure out how to do that. That's what it's called.
From the time that we were just little children, we've been taught to apologize. And of course, do apologize if you've done something wrong. But I feel like it's also become so
Okay, so this title called Reframe Gratefully, just as another creative idea. I feel like Reframe Gratefully, even if she maybe had this shot initially kind of do a jitter and then slow down and then reframe gratefully kind of came up. I think it plays to the whole idea of reframing. That could be another shot. But yeah, I think when you think about stuff like this, or we think of titles and shots, it'd be cool to have certain things like that in it.
And one of my goals these last years has been to try to increase my self confidence a bit. And one micro habit that's been helping in that is to shift away from the default apology to instead saying thank you.
So many good pieces here. I love how you could see that the leaves are in the foreground here. The reason why it's so blurry is because it's probably so close, and the focus is obviously on her, so that makes everything in the foreground completely blurry. And shooting, kind of through it gives it this nice like dreamy glow effect. But I also like the touch of when she's walking away, her camera person is capturing her, and it's not a static shot.
Habit that's been helping in that is to shift away from the
The
default.
moving shot. And I know this requires another person to help. So if you guys are ever shooting your stuff and you're shooting alone, it's hard to do that. But you could do that. It might not look as good or as natural as that panning motion. But what you could do is zoom into your footage and then keyframe it and then move it a little bit. It'll have some type of movement. And I think that's why I like shots like this, because you could tell that there's someone else that's helping and there's a little bit more to it. So a little bit more motion, a little bit more movement.
Instead of saying, I'm sorry, I'm running late, I'll say, thank you for waiting for me. It's just so much more empowering. It makes us feel better about ourselves, and it also makes the other person
So I love that. I love how he shot two different scenarios, same section or same location,
so much. I'll say instead, hey, thank you for listening. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, I'm running late, I'll say, thank
and
you for
then
waiting for me. It's just
matching it. So I don't even know what this technique's called, but I love how it's very well thought out. So to script it and then do the talking head, which I felt like she did first, and then maybe shot all of these after just to kind of fill in the gaps. But it's a nice touch.
And the same thing goes when we're receiving compliments. In the past, I used to downplay or brush off compliments, thinking I was being modest. But when someone is offering praise, they're gifting you with their admiration. And to dismiss it is to downplay yourself, and also to refuse someone's heart.
So remember, I talked about how many shots she has in scenes. So this scene is a conversation scene. She has some cutaways to drinking, but these shots, when you do talking shots, especially with two people or three people, over the shoulder shots are mostly used just so you can have an idea of who the person's talking to. So she does it on both sides. And then going back to this, remember how I said that, multiple B-roll for different scenes? So she has, picking up the keys, walking out. There's like multiple shots. So it's always good to grab different angles, different focal lengths just for certain scenes. Makes it more dynamic. It makes your video way more dynamic.
A while ago, I read this piece by an author, Kurt Vonnegut, and he was talking about a simple habit that his uncle Alex practiced. Whenever a good moment would pop up in life's seemingly routine moments, Uncle Alex would stop and say, well, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is.
So that little piece where she's talking about Uncle Alex, and I felt like they've shot just a whole scene just for that one part, grabbing an actor. I don't know if this is stock of B-roll, but it just feels like it's a nice touch. You get the idea of Uncle Alex.
He was talking about a simple habit that his Uncle Alex practiced. Whenever a good moment would pop up in life's seemingly routine moments, Uncle Alex would stop and say, well, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is.
Such a nice touch. Such a nice touch. And I realized that these are all slow mo. And I don't know if it's intentional. Like, you're talking about memories or talking about someone else. I like how this is shot in slow mo, or this is in slow mo.
He was talking about a simple habit that his Uncle Alex practiced.
Right?
And I'll say, if this isn't life, I don't know what is. And I know the original quote says nice, but I just like the way life sounds better, so that's what I've been saying. If I'm sipping my first cup of coffee in the morning and it's just hitting the spot, I'll say, if this isn't life, I don't know what is. If I see a beautiful sunset on my way home, or if I hear
So
somebody playing
again, with different shots, right? You got the overhead coffee, then medium shot here. I like how you get the plant in the foreground, makes it a little bit more interesting.
it's just
And
hitting the
then a
spot.
close up here. So nice.
bad for us and that we should try to avoid it at all costs, right? But stress is just an inevitable part of life. And I'm the kind of person who, if you tell me not to stress, I'm gonna start stressing about the fact that I'm stressing. And so recently,
So again, the I can't stress enough how nice it is to see different shots for different scenes. Just 4 shots right there, right? You got her lying down,
but stress
then you got this bird's eye, then a close up, and then like a cutaway. So just adding little bits and pieces to it to kind of really make it way more interesting.
the rapid heartbeat, the quickened breathing, this is all preparing your body for action. If students were told this, they actually reported that they felt more focused during the exam and they performed better too. And this is all just because they were told.
This is why I thought the Uncle Alex was B-roll, because like it was a set. And what I find is that when creators use B-roll or stock footage from sites, they'll just kind of grab one or two. This, I don't know if they actually shot that classroom scene, but I feel like it could be from a stock site. But what I like is that they've used multiple clips from the same scene. And you'll see that on stock sites. You could get, this classroom scene and then maybe just use that and that's it. But to be able to find different shots in that same location is great. So if you guys are ever using B-roll or stock B-roll for either yourselves or clients, try to grab them in bunches because it does add a little bit more production value, or feels like it does.
Instead of telling myself, I shouldn't feel this, I should calm down, I try to instead channel that energy into making things happen. Instead of seeing the stress as something that's hindering me, I tell myself, you found
Oh,
a challenge.
look how shallow this focus is. It's like this. Man, that's so crisp. This could also feel different if it was shot horizontal, or like it was horizontal or parallel to the words. Sorry. So, depending on what you want, let's say you did want to emphasize a certain sentence in a book, then you would probably shoot it this way or have it that way so people could follow along and read. There's just different ways of using the depth of field depending on what you want to show the audience and like where you want them to look. So, this is cool. I like it. It's such a clean shot.
Stress as something that's hindering me, I tell myself, you found a challenge, but you're excited about this, you've got this. It's a small mindset shift, but it's been transformative. Stress has gone from being something that consumed and
So
controlled
like
me.
there, I think compared to other one, I think I would have shot it where the focus is like long ways as opposed to the focus being this way, because the you got this is very specific. This is a little out of focus, but it's little things like that where you open up the aperture so the focus is a little wider. So what I like about this video is like it's a talking head video, but it's so interesting because there's just so many different shots. And I think when you do your talking head shots, you have to think, okay, what scenes am I gonna shoot? What scenes work well with these? What makes sense? And then when you actually get to shooting these scenes, it's like, how many different angles can I get of this? Having too much B-roll is better than having none. So always think about that. If you guys are trying to spice up your videos and you might only have a couple scenes, think of, let me get as much angles as possible because this video does it so well. If you guys did enjoy this, please like and subscribe and share this with anyone you think would enjoy it. I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.